When I speak, I'll usually start off and ask the question, who wants to be healthy? Say, who wants to be ripped? Who wants money? And the money part seems to not necessarily fit in with my health talk, but really, we are talking about all three. When I talk about lifestyle, I always talk from the context of giving you the energy, giving you the vitality, giving you the time on this earth to achieve your dreams, to achieve your potential, to reach your destiny. These are the reasons why we want to get healthy. With the right lifestyle, you can get all three: healthy, ripped, and get the money. You know, my whole life is built around this. How do I give people the energy and the time to fulfill their purposes? You know, I was sitting the other day with some people that are very successful. We had dinner and they wanted to find out more about what they can do about their health. And they were talking about this from the perspective of they wanted to be more successful. And they talked about me and some other people they knew who they said, you know, when we meet successful people, we generally always find they're really into health. They're really fit, and we have been missing that in our life. Plus, we are starting to have health problems in our 50s. And this is a cool story because they had overcome a lot. They come from the deep South. They were poor, living in a trailer as kids, and now have become multimillionaires. And you know, their parents weren't real supportive. I don't know what you call, how they call an abusive parent in the South, but in the South they call it mom and dad. Just bottom line is you generally didn't have the kind of raising up that you needed if you wanted to be a success, and yet they did. They overcame all of that, but they realize now in their 50s it's time to get healthy, time to get fit if they want to be successful at the next level. You know, I don't have a lot of gifts. I don't feel like I was born into being successful, being healthy. In fact, my dad died when he was 50. I'm named after my grandfather that I never met. My mother had a stroke in her 40s, so if I was going to rely on just my genes, I'd be in trouble. My brothers and I, however, don't have any of the kind of problems that my aunts and uncles, my father, my grandfather, we don't have the kind of problems they have. We don't have the blood pressure issues. We don't have high cholesterol. We're not overweight. And so all these genetic things you're supposed to have if that's what your parents were like or your grandparents were like, we don't have any of this stuff. Again, I don't have a lot of gifts. If you're watching at home, I'll show you this. If you're listening, what I'm doing is you grab your nose with one hand and you cross your other hand over and grab your ear, I can switch them around really fast. That's my only gift. I can do this forever. Not much of a gift, can't make a lot of money with it, but everything else I've had to work for. And so the bottom line is, wherever you are today, maybe you felt like, you know, I just can't seem to ever lose the weight, or I can't seem to ever get lean or muscular. I can't get my strength back. Maybe you're saying, well, you know, my foot is permanently injured, or my back is permanently injured, or my knees don't work, or I'm just one of these depressed kind of people. You're not ill-fated towards any of that. There are ways to get over these things. And we're going to talk about a principle on this show that's a principle of overcoming genetics, overcoming your situation, and we call it the Genesis factor. This is based on a new book that I put together as a program for a place called the Dream Center, where we have a clinic. And the idea of this Genesis factor is that there's, the word Genesis, if you look at the beginning, it's gene. And the idea is that there's something inside of you that's more powerful than what you'll encounter outside of you. That in every situation, there's a power to overcome. This, of course, works both in life and in health. In any situation, we have to realize we have the tools inside of us to be a success. From a health perspective, the example I'd use, there's actually a point, it's a biblical point. I'm an amateur at this stuff, but in John 5, there's this guy who's been an invalid for 38 years. He's been lying around, can't move, and he's waiting for this miracle to occur where if he can get into this pool before anybody else, there was a legend that an angel would come and heal him. And so Jesus walks up to this guy and says, "Do you want to be well?" And that's where I got this term Genesis from. When he says be well, what he's saying is this term genestai hugies, and it means restored whole. The word genestai is literally a new beginning, to be healed, to be renewed. And that's the idea here with this principle we're talking about on this show, that there's this healing factor within you that we have to have the ability to access, to release. We don't want to interfere with this healing inside of us. This has everything to do with your lifestyle. So you're not born, once again, to be sick, but you can interfere with that. And if we can remove that interference and live in such a way as to release this power inside of us, we can be healthy.